You're in the water loop.
Welcome to Waterloop, the nonprofit news outlet exploring solutions for sustainability in water. I'm the host, Travis Loop. SUEZ is aiming to ignite innovation in North America by bringing its 160 years of global water expertise and thousands of patented treatment technologies to utilities across the continent. In this conversation from WEFTEC, Joshua Cantone and Abigail Antolovich of SUEZ share how the company is focused on empowering utilities with advanced tools and know-how for smarter, more sustainable solutions. In the face of growing environmental challenges, SUEZ provides its customers with innovative and resilient solutions for water and waste services. Take, for example, the SUEZ Sewer Ball, which revolutionizes sewer inspections by autonomously navigating wastewater networks to gather real-time data on pH, temperature, conductivity, and pollution. Powered by intelligent algorithms, it detects infiltration and illegal discharges without interrupting service, enabling faster, safer, and more cost-effective maintenance decisions. Also, SUEZ, in partnership with North American partner Nexum, is introducing Cyclor Turbo, fast-settling, densified sludge technology that cuts wastewater treatment footprints by up to 50%, reduces energy use, and ensures regulatory compliance. Visit SUEZ.com to unlock smarter water systems today.
Very excited to talk about the SUEZ footprint and presence in North America. Can you talk about the market trends in North America that are really driving this approach, that are driving the need for innovative tech here in this continent?
The world is seeing a lot of challenges. In North America, I think it's exacerbated by the number of utilities in North America. We have, almost 50,000 utilities, very different than other parts of the world. The UK has 18. And so in North America, I think we face a lot of problems with aging infrastructure. We've seen changes in the climate, which, whatever you believe around climate change, we can't change the fact that there are more extremes, right? And, we're seeing more flooding, we're seeing more water scarcity in certain parts of the United States. And then you have things that we're just learning about the environment. So we have these emerging contaminants, things like PFAS wasn't a huge thing that people were aware of 10 years ago, but now it's something that every utility has to think about. And I think that, North America in particular is always being committed to innovation. It's one of the most entrepreneurial parts of the world, and, it's open to new technologies. There are innovations that can be driven through universities. And I think that, what SUEZ is seeing is that as an innovator in Europe, we have something to offer to the North American market. And so I think the North American market is really hungry for new technologies. I think the water space is one that's perhaps underinvested in. It's a technology that sometimes I think, or a resource sometimes we forget about. All the pipe infrastructure is underground. Most of it's been there for 50 or 100 years. So that presents a huge problem for American utilities. And I think that what we need to do is look for ways to manage that resource better. Can we get more sustainable with the solutions that we're bringing? Can we use less energy in our operations? These are all questions that I think the North American market in particular is really facing, and I think is open to seeing new solutions for.
It was interesting you mentioned the number of utilities and that uniqueness of the market and how technology can play a role in helping those tens of thousands of systems that are out there, right? They're looking for solutions. And so that's a great, interesting observation there. It makes a lot of sense. So given these trends, given these needs in North America, in the market, how is SUEZ then looking to come in and expand its presence and its footprint?
Yeah, so I think it's something that SUEZ has been thinking about strategically over the past couple of years. And SUEZ is a global water provider. We're a global water utility, one of the world's largest, the world's oldest. 160 years, SUEZ has been operating water facilities globally. And in most other markets, France, even India, China, Australia, SUEZ is an operator. We're an operator of water and wastewater networks. We're a provider of large engineering construction projects. We've built some of the largest water and wastewater treatment plants globally. But in North America, we're a little bit different. And our strategy here is to be a technology provider. We want to bring SUEZ's IP, SUEZ's research, development, and innovation to the North American market. My experience with SUEZ has been as a provider of digital technology. So over the last 5 to 10 years, we've really brought digital solutions and technologies to North American utilities, having deployed them at more than 100 utilities in the US, solutions that help us optimize the design of our water networks, optimize the operation of our collection systems and treatment plants. And now our goal is to bring our treatment technologies to the market. So not as an operator, but as a provider of the technology, offer our IP, offer our know-how. SUEZ, at the end of the day, is an operator. We are committed to being one of the best and most efficient and sustainable operators, and we want to bring that expertise to the North American market. We want to offer that know-how to other North American utilities. We talked about the size of North American utilities. The reality is there's not utilities the size of SUEZ here, but there's lots of smaller utilities that don't have the opportunity to spend millions of dollars on innovation and research, but can we provide that for them? Can they be a benefactor of the technology we're developing and really help evolve with the market better here in North America?
Joining the conversation now is Abigail Antolovich from SUEZ to discuss how the company is reimagining its approach to bringing technology to market.
SUEZ has really been creative about making sure that they can take the best technologies from their own operations in their core market in France and across Europe and bring it to the US, to the North American market and other regions that are important the fastest way possible. So in a lot of cases, for example, if you're building a really large water treatment facility, there's a lot of time, investment, resources that are required to deliver those facilities. What SUEZ is doing is saying, we want to work with the best-in-class delivering teams. So if it's an equipment integrator, if it's an OEM, if it's somebody who has excellent delivery skills, we want to work with them because what that does is it enables SUEZ to offer our best-in-class technologies that we operate to the market as fast as possible. We get to leverage the experience, the exposure, and also the technical expertise of the best-in-class companies in North America who can find value from our technologies, and then we can also drive value by getting feedback from the market from those partners so that we can continue to improve our offerings, and it just becomes a really beautiful symbiotic relationship.
Could you talk, kind of expand on that, this strategy of licensing as a way to kind of go to market?
Absolutely. What SUEZ is looking at is we have 160 years of best-in-class technical applications engineers, other sorts of operators. And so what we have is this excellent book, essentially, of all these design and operational philosophies. What we want to be able to do is get that into the hands of licensing partners. So it could be a system integrator or an equipment delivery partner who can take the value of our process technology expertise and then they can marry it up with the local requirements for delivery. So understanding, for example, if you're in a certain state and you need certain engineering requirements with engineering stamps, we want to make sure that we are leveraging that expertise. We are working with them to honor what they have done so well in the market, and then also providing them a unique technology that enables them to address their customer base in a more effective way and bringing the technologies quickly so that they can leverage all of their delivery mechanisms to get the technologies. They know which customers are going to be the best fit. They know what client teams are going to be the best partners for delivering our new technologies. And so they can also be a great part of our strategy because they know the markets. They know the best fit to these technologies. So the goal is that by enabling our licensing partners to be successful and have access to these technologies, they're able to elevate their brand. SUEZ is able to maintain some value by providing some well-respected technologies. And overall, at the end of the day, what we're really trying to do is allow our own utility operations expertise to be available to other utility operators in the market. That's what we're really all about. We develop technologies by a utility for other utilities.
Partnership with a firm like Nexum would be an example of that. Could you explain how that illustrates kind of the approach that you're talking about and how it's helping kind of build SUEZ's impact in North America?
Absolutely. Nexum is a fantastic example of a partnership that we want to try to continue to model in North America and other regions where we want to offer our technologies. Nexum has done an excellent job establishing themselves as a leading provider for biological treatment systems to address nutrient removal. Nutrient removal is a really critical market to be addressed in North America right now. And Nexum has positioned themselves in a great way where they have been bringing new technologies to market, both through full process design and finding the best-in-class equipment components. And they work with the end users and their owners' engineers to develop and deliver the best engineering solutions for those facilities. So what ends up happening is because they are a best-in-class biological treatment system operator, SUEZ has excellent experience in biological treatment as well. So we're able to offer the cycloturbo sequencing batch reactor to Nexum. Nexum's able to take our technical and our technology process design package and then work through at their customer sites exactly what type of equipment they know that the customers like, how to program their PLCs. They understand the operator needs really well, and so they can work on those very site-specific elements that are going to be really important for their performance delivery so that the customer is ultimately able to have the best experience with the cycloturbo with a really strong delivery company that SUEZ then stands behind to make sure that we're enabling Nexum and the customer to have a successful experience.
Returning to the conversation is Joshua Cantone to look at how SUEZ's global research and development investment shapes its strategy in North America.
So SUEZ has a number of research centers that we operate globally. We have over 600 experts that are committed to research and development and innovation.
We got 160 years of
160 years of history as well.
Yeah.
And I think the constant challenge for SUEZ is, well, okay, how do we continue to operate better? So the regulations are changing. The cost of chemicals, the cost of energy is changing. We have a lot of existing infrastructure. I think one of the interesting challenges that's not talked about so much is we have a lot of existing infrastructure. We don't have necessarily the footprint to expand our treatment plants, but how can we do better in the footprints that we have? Can we reduce the size of our treatment infrastructure, but increase the efficiency? And so, SUEZ has over 1,800 patents, active patents globally, and those experts are constantly getting feedback from our operators, from our field teams, from our folks that are operating these treatment plants and networks globally, and saying, look, I think we could actually do a little bit better here. And so our research centers are designed to then allow us to focus on the science, figure out ways that we can get more out of the emerging technologies that are coming. I mean, it's not just us too. I think that the world is getting better with technology. So even things like AI are improving our digital technologies. And so we're not developing it all ourselves. We're partnering with other universities and institutions, private partners as well, to try and have the best in breed of solutions for SUEZ and for our partners in this market.
What's next? I'm very curious, over the next few years, several years, what's SUEZ's approach? What do we expect to see when it comes to scaling in North America?
One of the interesting things is we're going to take a little bit of a different approach for SUEZ. And rather than, in other parts of the world, we bid on these large design, build, operate contracts. Well, in North America, we want to find ways to license our technologies. So partner with other North American-based technology companies or utilities, educate them, train them on our technology, give them the rights to use our IP, and allow them to bring it to market. And at the same time, learn from their applications. So we're a utility, we operate in certain ways under certain conditions, but we think there's a lot to be learned from the North American utilities. Can they improve our technologies? And hopefully that benefits SUEZ in our own operations in other places, but we want to really provide this feedback mechanism for the North American market. So licensing technologies instead of selling them is one thing. We're also going to be bringing new technologies to the market and seeing if we can start to really combine what I would call digital technologies and treatment technologies. I think we think of them independently sometimes, but at the end of the day, a treatment plant needs to operate more efficiently. We're being challenged. So that might be a combination of operating it differently using digital tools and AI, but combining that with a new process technology that reduces the footprint of the treatment plant, allows you to increase production without increasing the footprint. So I think we're going to see this nexus between more of the digital and the harder traditional technology, sort of the concrete steel that we see in these plants, and bring that to the market.
As your footprint is expanding, who would you love to connect with here in North America? Who would you love to hear from and talk about this?
I think first it's the utilities. I think you get the most benefit from talking to the utilities directly. I think particularly with issues like PFAS, there's a lot of talk around the regulations and when utilities will be required to do something. But I think that there's a real opportunity to engage with utilities now and understand, well, okay, what's their timeline? They don't have to necessarily follow the regulatory timelines. There are issues out there. Water utilities are stewards of the water they provide. They want to provide safe drinking water. They want to reduce pollution. So I think what we've already seen is having conversations with those utilities gives us insights. Also, the engineering, construction, the EPC community, the consultants are part of the heartbeat of North America. They provide advice. They provide knowledge to the water utilities. We want to tap into that. We want to see what are their needs. Are there tools that could help them with design? Are there tools and technologies that we could improve on to make the outcomes for the utilities better? And then last of all, for us, it's more of the technology companies. We want to talk with other technology companies who are providing technologies. We don't know everything. We don't have all of the technologies. We partner globally and we buy from many technology companies around the world, and we can learn from them. But maybe together we can provide more integrated solutions that fit better together and provide a better outcome. So I think those are the stakeholders that we want to work with. I think that the other ones are perhaps some of the more political players in the market, talking to the government, the EPA, the regulatory agencies, understanding what's next for them and seeing, can we work together? Can we provide that balance between regulatory requirements and really where the technology's at, or what the utilities can afford? At the end of the day, the consumer pays for this. I live in the suburbs of Chicago. I pay for my water. I want to be a steward of water use. And I want my utility to listen to me. But there are many things that we're challenged with in terms of the affordability of water. And so I think we need to keep considering that, because, we would love to treat everything in the water. We would love to have the most optimal processes, but at the end of the day, it's got to be affordable for the customer. And I think that's something that's really important here in North America in particular.
Thanks for listening. If you want to support Waterloop's ongoing exploration of water solutions, subscribe on YouTube, rate and review the podcast on Spotify and Apple, follow us on social media at The Waterloop, and sign up for email updates at waterloop.org.
You're in the Waterloop.